Hey everyone, so I've gotten a lot of comments asking about how my drum kit is set up, and so I figured I could go ahead and make a video and kind of explain to you how everything is set up. So right here we actually have three kits. So one of them is of course the Alesis Nitro Max, which is that kit right there. Then we have the Alesis Nitro right there. And then we have one more, which is a Simmons ST200, which I just borrowed some pads off of. Now I'll put on screen what the ST200 normally looks like. I got it a couple years back just to have some extra pads, and the module is so bad I don't even bother trying to use it with this set. These Alesis modules are just so much better. Even if they are the just normal cheapest modules, they still sound really good. So like I said, I would just like to kind of take you on a tour of everything and to show you how I was able to get all of this to fit onto those two modules. So let's get started. So first thing's a little bit of backstory on this kit. So I moved in 2021 and I played acoustic forever, and I just needed a electric set because my new house, I just couldn't play an acoustic in it. So I went and I got the Alesis Nitro, played on it for about 3 years, and then it started to get pretty old and beat up. So I decided that because of the wear and tear, I ought to get an upgrade to the Alesis Nitro. Now, the Nitro Max. Now, while I was playing the Nitro, I bought that ST200 and just added it on for some pads, which those pads are right there, these three, and then the rest of the pads I just kind of never used. My favorite is this little splash cymbal that I have set up here. This was originally the hi-hat, and then these two other cymbals are just more durable, I found, so I have them in kind of high wear areas. But as for the rest of the kit, this all sits on one big just standard Alesis rack. Now this is one of the nice things about having both the Nitro and the Nitro Max is they both have the exact same rack, so I can very easily put these two together into this one giant rack. So at its core, I have it set up with this one. I'll come around on this side. I have this one tallest post right here. Then I have two lower posts there, and then I have this little raised bar right here where I can mount my modules up, because on one of my older kits I found that mounting a module higher was easier for running all of these cables. So any other additional components to the rack would be we have this straight cymbal stand right here, and then this little arm right here. This was about a $40 arm from Guitar Center, and it works really well just to hold up one cymbal. And when I was playing my acoustic kit, it was great for a little splash cymbal, maybe off on the side of the hi-hat stand. Another piece is this boom stand right here, which holds up this right-hand splash, and then of course two snare stands, one of which holds up my laptop right here, and the second one holds my snare. Now originally, if you look at the original pictures for how the Nitro Max was set up, you'll find that the snare was mounted off of the rack, off of this post right here. But I found that the snare just wobbled way too much, and I heard a bunch of people complaining about it, so I decided to just put it on a snare stand. And so for the modules, I have really not done that much. They are, I use two custom kits on here, and I'll kind of show you how I have them set up. So if you turn them on, so the way I have it set up if you're running two like this, and if they're kind of similar, I like to have it so I have user kit 36 right there and user kit 36 right there, and then when I go to change, if I bump over two, then these sounds match. I use the stock sounds. I tried doing some plugin stuff a while ago, and it just doesn't work that well with two modules. And the wiring on this is kind of weird, so I'll get into that later to kind of show y'all how messed up it can get when you try to run all of this into just these two. So mentioning wiring, the way these are kind of all wired up is we start with designating a main and an auxiliary module. Some people use the term master and slave module. Typically, your main module needs to be whatever your most expensive and nice module is. Now this is if you want to put two or more together. All you need to do is super simple. Run just a normal headphone cable like this out of the aux in. Just aux in right there. And then run it into your worst module right in there in the headphone output. Now, the reason we do this is so any of the sound coming from here literally just gets run down the wire and into here. Now if you want to run tracks or you want to wire in another module, all you do is put it in the aux input of this second module. And then that way both of these two are connected. Now it's easier if you are running two modules and they're different brands for you to run drum plugins. But since these two are the same and one's basically just an upgraded version of the other with kind of the same internals, there's a lot of sounds on here that match up almost perfectly between these two. So that's just what I do, is I just use the stock sounds, and since they're the same, they end up matching perfectly. Now there are some more added sounds on here that I don't have on here, which is great because this is my main module. So a lot of my stuff like my hi-hats, my snare, my rise, and my tom sounds I can play with a little bit more. So for my output, I have I use the stereo out, the left and right 1/4 inch out off of this module. And like I said, since the sounds come from here to here, everything comes out one line, which eventually comes down to this little 1/8 inch adapter right here, which I then plug into my camera. Now, the way everything's wired up, it's very confusing, and the orientation kind of doesn't make sense wire by wire or input by input. But once I go around back and I show you kind of what each module is responsible of, it'll make more sense. But for right now, I use both of the stock cable snakes here. This is what handles 90% of the stuff. The other rest of the stuff gets handled by these auxiliary inputs right here. These, symbol 1 or symbol 2 and tom 4 on both modules is what the extra stuff goes to. And so the way I pick what pad gets what wire is I literally just take the shortest cable and I plug it into the nearest connection, and then the next shortest to the next, and then the longest to the furthest. And then when I need to get all the way over there, I pull out one of these 1/4 inch cables, which is really, really long. This is like an 8-foot or a 10-foot cable, and it can reach all the way across the kit. Now, I do the same thing for this other module, and this just picks up all the crumbs that this one can't get, and then I run, like I said, all of my furthest stuff that needs to be on this module through these two 1/4 inch cables right here. So there's a lot of cable here, and it's all pretty well managed, but to kind of explain what module is responsible for what, we have this first module. My main module takes care of all of my core stuff. So hi-hat, snare, these 4 toms, both of my kick pedals, my hi-hat pedal, and my ride, and this furthest china. Now everything else, all of this, all of those right there, that splash, these 3 crashes, and this furthest floor tom, and that hi-hat pedal all get taken over by this second module. And the reason I have both of the kicks mapped to this main module is I was going to have just the one kick mapped to the one module, but the thing about that is the sounds, like I said, the sounds differ a little bit. There are some added kick sounds in the Nitro Max that I prefer over the original Nitro. So to compensate, I just went ahead and added both kicks onto the Nitro Max so their sounds match perfectly. And like I said, whenever I go through to set up a kit, I do it as any other electric drum set would. I start with my kicks and then my hi-hat and my snare and my toms, and I go through and I build it out custom, and then I assign it to the same number user kit on both of these modules. So when I want to switch kits, I just hit forward once here and forward once here, and now both of these sounds and both of these kits should, if they're mixed correctly, sound exactly the same, so you can't tell which kit I'm playing when. So both of the modules basically just blend together. Now, for tracks, I just use this laptop or a phone or whatever's available because I just use Bluetooth, which is just the easiest thing to do since this module is enabled with Bluetooth. Now, I just use Spotify for my tracks because I'm not really that fancy. But overall, I think that's pretty much everything. So I think we went over rack, all the different pads, the modules, the way everything's wired, the way the kits are set up, kind of the orientation of the rack. The only thing I didn't mention about the rack was the other thing was I just had this little arm right here for my ride, just so I can lift it like up and further back away from these 2 floor toms. But I think other than that, that is pretty much everything. So if there's anything I didn't explain, make sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you for watching, and I hope this kind of gives you guys an idea on how not only I have all of this set up, but also how if you have multiple sets, you can also set them up to work together. But anyhow, thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. So I'll see you guys in the next video.